Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's event, the Blue Bioeconomy Product Showcase, where we are going to be showcasing a number of companies who are working and bringing to market, and they're available on the market, algae-based bioproducts that are for the food, the feed, and the cosmetics industry. My name is Catriona, and I'm the manager of the Circular Bioeconomy Cluster Southwest, and I will be your moderator today. So this event has been organized in partnership with the cluster, but also with the FANBEST project, which is run from Munster Technological University, BiOrbic, the SFI Research Centre for Bioeconomy in Ireland, and also the Circ Bio Research Group. And we're so delighted to host this event because it's very important for the Irish bioeconomy to think about marine, what are the available products. It's not just blue sky thinking. These companies are operating in real life and on the ground. And so we want to tell the story of their journey and their success as well. And we also want to highlight the supports that are available for entrepreneurs and for researchers who are thinking about creating a marine-based bioproduct and are looking for that type of initiative and support that's available in Ireland. So what we're going to do today, we're going to hear from 3 companies. We're going to hear from Jennifer O'Brien from Plantruption. We're going to hear from Paul O'Connor from This is Seaweed, and also Dr. Helena McMahon from Nutramara. And so without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer to kickstart us today. Let's get right in there. Thank you. So Jennifer, if you can start sharing your screen, please.
Great, thank you. Perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer O'Brien and delighted to introduce my company today, Plantruption, and get an opportunity to speak here today. And just to give you a bit of a background how the company started, for most of my life I've suffered from chronic asthma, relying on steroids, hospitalization several times, and I was always looking for ways to improve my health, and I came across Seaweed as a product I was using, seaweed bats, seaweed in my diet, which ultimately gave me great relief from my symptoms, which later led me to research it further and look into the health benefits, and started working on developing Plantruption, which has pivoted over time, but delighted to showcase the products today. So what we're all about, I suppose our mission is to disrupt how food is produced to benefit oceans, terrestrial ecosystems, and future generations. Just to give you an idea, 60% of the fish stock around the world right now is at capacity. 30% has been completely depleted. The world's population is expecting to grow to 10 billion in the coming years. So we need a solution, and we need one fast. So what is our solution? Well, what if I said that we could provide a plant-based seafood option without compromising on health, nutrition, or the ocean ecosystem? And that's plant-based seafood. And we're developing a wide range of products, which I'll later go on to show you, that mimic a fish and mimic the taste of the ocean, but without having to compromise on the health of the ocean. So right now we're a team of 3 / nearly 4. We're just recruiting a food scientist this week to join the team. And we've been manufacturing ourselves locally here in Dublin for the past year, and we've now just outsourced the manufacturing to grow and scale and move into further markets. And we're also looking to export this year and looking at the US market. So on the left is our first product that we have on the market, which is the Irish Seaweed Burger. We launched this product last June, and we've had some incredible feedback and loyal customers since then. And we were really overwhelmed by the response and the interest in the product itself. It took about a year working with the Food Academy program in New Frontiers to develop the product and get feedback and testing before we went to market. And since then, we've made a few changes and improved the product. And in the middle section there, you'll see the plant-based goujons, which we're just launching actually this week to the market, which they are a combination of soy, seaweed, breadcrumbs, and they really mimic a kind of a fish goujon. The great things about our product is that they're packed with protein, and that was one really important thing we weren't prepared to compromise on. With 29 grams of protein per pack, which is more than the Beyond Meat burger, we're proud to say. And we've had huge interest, particularly from some sports stars and various people that want obviously a protein packed meat fish substitute. And on the right top hand side is our long-term project, which we're developing with a Dutch researcher, is our plant-based fish. And we just conducted our first trials 2 weeks ago in the Netherlands, and we've really managed to create the taste and the texture of a cod-like structure, which is what we're trying to replicate, you know, the Irish culture, the UK culture of fish and chips and that cod that you get. And we saw a huge gap in the market for those type of products. And we thought that we could potentially work with some research institutes around the world to get that taste and texture of an Irish cod. So some of the ingredients that we're looking at, and they're not final ingredients, but we're looking at a combination of potato protein, pea protein, rice protein, seaweed, microalgae, and staying away typically from traditional soy, but we haven't completely ruled out using soy either. But we're looking at potentially sourcing the most sustainable ingredients that are out there, that we can go to market with, focusing heavily on seaweed and microalgae to give it that real pungent taste. We're also looking at white microalgae as well, so it's not the green algae that you typically see to put consumers off. So far, that's what the ingredients that we're working with, and we'll always keep improving and adjusting those ingredients to ensure that they're as sustainable as possible. And I should have mentioned that all of our packaging is completely compostable, breaks down the ocean within 14 weeks. I suppose one area that, again, we did not want to compromise on, seeing particularly around COVID with bins packed and rubbish ending up in the ocean. I've been traveling Asia last year and meeting with suppliers over there, just seeing the devastation that, you know, we felt it was important that the packaging was all compostable, recyclable, biodegradable, which it all is, which we compromised a little bit more on price, but weren't prepared to compromise on that. So just on the left here, you'll see some of the results which we're hoping to achieve with our cod, and we're kind of close to getting these results. And this is just another presentation that we're working with the Dutch research, but we're close to the color, and we've kind of nearly got the texture right, but we've a little bit more work to do before we get the exact cod, before we can go to market. So some of our competitive advantage so far, we're first to market advantage in terms of plant-based seafood. We're the first in Ireland, apart from Linda McCarthy has a kind of a range there. So I think it stopped sharing. 1 second. There you go. We have a clever design pack, and we're focusing on the ocean and ecosystems and health, which has attracted, we've got some good feedback, and we will be doing a kind of a rebrand later this year. And so far to date, we've been a women-led startup, so we've gained a lot of attraction from investors and various people who are focusing on supporting women entrepreneurs. We're using groundbreaking technology. We're filling that white fish gap, and we're using microalgae treatment that is unique to Plantruption. And our nutrition, our protein is off the wall at 30 grams per pack. Obviously, we're in a climate emergency, so we're focusing heavily on that. The possible material, most sustainable ingredients as possible. And you know, so far Ireland has been a great country to set up a business in. We did have low tax rates. I think that's changing, but the ecosystem in Ireland has been incredible, and without that we wouldn't have really been able to, the support system, we wouldn't have been able to get off the ground. So delighted to say that we've just completed a seed round with SOSV, so we're traveling to the US now to focus on the US market and growing and expanding there, as well as keeping a European base and launching into Northern Europe and Ireland and the UK, hopefully in the next year. So here's a picture of some of our customers. I posted on Instagram and socials, and happy customers eating our products. So and you can see the colors there represent the blue and green of the Irish shores. So thank you very much for your time, and thanks for the opportunity for being able to showcase our products.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And really, wow, I'm so impressed. First to market in this category. Just raised your seed round. You're going to the States and you're in Northern Europe. Like, amazing. And female entrepreneur led. So congratulations, really great work. We're now going to hear from Paul O'Connor from This is Seaweed. So Paul, would you kindly share your screen, please?
Is that sharing?
Yes, it is.
Thanks, Catriona, and thanks for the opportunity to present my company. This is Seaweed, and our focus is on minimizing some of the issues that the planet is facing right now. And so, as Jennifer mentioned, reports are proving that the global population could reach 10 billion by 2050. And to alleviate that and to find new sources of protein, we need to stop wrecking the rainforest and move to other sources. Likewise, with sustainable fuels, we need to find another source that we can drive the long haul industry going forward. And we believe that seaweed cultivation and seaweed processing can help with some of those and some of the other issues facing the planet today. In that regard, we initiated a project with BiOrbic and at Teagasc, and we're working on a novel extraction process to separate protein, alginates, and fiber within seaweed. It's not an easy thing to do to separate the protein, and because the matrix is so tough, but this is a challenge that we're rising to. The protein extract then would be suitable for food ingredients companies. Some of the other extracts from the polysaccharides could be used for the nutraceutical industry, the cosmeceutical industry, and the fiber extract could be used for the likes of textiles. Our next area of research will be to investigate any of the waste streams coming out of that process that we could use for hydrogen generation and therefore a fuel of the future. Stemming from that, then you're left with some leftover material, call it a co-product, which biochar, which could be used for soil promoting properties or indeed for composite materials. It is the conscientious consumer of today that is driving these trends and driving our research. We see that the plant-based protein market is growing. Supermarket shelves across the Western world and beyond are showing an increase in demand for plant-based products. Likewise, foods that are going on our shelves that the likes of Unilever, Kerry, and Glanbia are producing, they're using more fortified foods because of the demand from the consumer for healthier products. So extracts for like iodine, iron, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D from seaweeds can promote these. The fiber extract could also be used in the food industry for digestive health, promoting a good gut microbiome, which is high on the agenda of many food ingredients companies. And our interest in the long haul transport and to be a player in generating hydrogen to promote the biofuels of the future, particularly in the shipping industry, is an area that we're most interested in. With regard to the textiles that we produce, then they come with a biodegradable polymers, and so therefore can biodegrade with a zero toxic waste. We believe that the time is now, and the total addressable market reflects this. And so in terms of the alternative protein nutraceutical and cosmeceuticals, we've seen massive growth over the last number of years and continue to grow to the likes of 2027. And the green hydrogen space could end up anywhere. And so current projections suggest that it could be a $10 trillion industry by 2050. And who knows where that will go. Our current project in Teagasc has an exciting development timeline that we're working on, and the researchers started in June, very busy working in the lab in Teagasc and producing protein extracts and other extracts currently being analyzed. And so at the end of, or in the middle of next month in November, we get an amino acid profile that we get to compare with the other protein extracts on the market. And at that point, we can issue our first extracts to a select number of customers, food ingredients companies that we've spoken to. Following on from that, and in another project supported by Callan in NUI Galway and in Cardiff University, where we look at the antimicrobial properties and the anti-inflammatory properties stemming from the extraction process. And we're very excited about that. Also excited that next April, we get to scale from our laboratories trials to a commercial scale facility. And so we're looking forward to that. And then just a few months after that, we get to trial it in what would be an external commercial facility, so large scale. And following that and some iterations, then we could reach a point where it's called technology readiness level 6, in which place we would be in a position to apply for certain EU grants that only select companies with a TRL 6. For the remainder of the project, then we aim to iterate, optimize the extraction process really to suit the food ingredients companies. And so the protein extracts, where some ingredients companies may want to remove the flavor or the scent or the odor, to put it into let's say an energy bar or a burger, but others may want to keep the oceanic flavors if they're developing a fish product. Today, we're currently raising investment and in a Series A. And so if there are investors, then we're looking forward to hearing from those. But also, perhaps there are partners who may wish to collaborate on some of the research projects that we're investigating in. And we're looking for partners not only in Ireland, but across Europe for EU projects. We'd be happy to share our extracts and our expertise in those. And then we're also looking to engage with potential customers. So customers who are small to medium enterprises or larger food ingredients companies who are developing products in the plant-based space and may wish to use our protein extract, alginate extract, or fiber extract to enhance their products. The team is myself, Paul O'Connor. I'm a marine biologist, studied in Galway and then in the UK and the Netherlands, and recently took on a co-founder, Tony Richardson, has experience scaling companies in the life sciences world, in skincare and wound healing, and also in a clinical trials company, and his expertise has been great. We're looking to grow the team, and so over the coming years and the coming stages, we'll be doing that. But that is the end of the presentation. I wish to say thank you very much to BiOrbic, to Teagasc, and for the people running the event today. It's been a wonderful week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Really interesting. I like your call to action there around investment, collaboration, engagement, and also talent. You know, that's really exciting. You're a growing team, so I imagine you're going to be looking for key experts in the near future as well. So feel free to socialize those roles when they're available, and we'll make sure our network gets wind of it. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot, Catriona.
Yeah. So next up is Dr. Helena McMahon from Nutramara. Helena, can you please share your screen?
Afternoon, Catriona. Afternoon, everybody. So thank you for the invitation to speak here today. I am presenting on behalf of Nutramara. So Nutramara is a blue biotechnology company that was established 4 years ago now, so back in 2017, with a view to establish a marine biorefinery in Ireland that is generating a range of new products from the primary biomass algae to create new value chains into the cosmetic, nutraceutical, food and feed sectors. Nutramara's approach takes a full value chain approach where Nutramara are involved in seaweed cultivation and seaweed harvesting and work closely with a network of harvesters who harvest fresh Irish seaweed from the Irish Atlantic coast. Nutramara then takes in the seaweed, does the primary processing in an organically certified facility, and also then works with an expert network of researchers across Ireland around the exploration of the seaweed for high value compounds which have application in a wide variety of areas. And following the identification of those particular bioactives, they are taken into a brand lab which then works on the whole area of new product development, product formulations and branding to create and bring these new products to life. So as mentioned, the key objective of Nutramara is the development of a biorefinery, which is a state-of-the-art facility that embraces circular economy principles and zero waste principles and carbon capture to process seaweed in a sustainable manner. The company Nutramara encompasses the harvesting, the extraction, the validation of the bioactives and what potential product applications they have, the formulation and the branding. So all of these activities are carried out in-house in Nutramara and in collaboration with key external organizations. So Nutramara positions itself very much as a bioeconomy company. The model that the company has taken is around new value chain development, looking at opportunities for the development of feed products for the animal health market. So looking in particular at companion pet nutrition at the moment, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. The whole area of food ingredients and bioactive food ingredients is a huge and growing market, and Nutramara has been working really hard in developing a marine molecule platform with applications for the food industry. There's been a lot of work and prototyping done in the whole area of taking these marine bioactives into the beverage market, and in addition, extensive work done in the development of supplements and nutraceuticals targeting quite a number of key health areas, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail as well. And then the whole area of cosmetics is a huge market opportunity, in particular for marine molecules that have validated bioactivities. And then finally, looking at any of the residues that come out of the production process with the view to taking those to biogas, and overall, ultimately creating a zero waste processing facility in terms of the seaweed input into Nutramara. So we've heard a lot from the previous speakers around the whole area of sustainability, and I suppose working in harmony with the ocean ecosystem provides a huge opportunity for complementing the food system, and the way Nutramara does that is in a completely circular way. So the company is 100% Irish. It's very, very proud to be clean and green. The company works a lot on the whole area of external certifications to validate the performance of the various activities within the company. So there's a lot of emphasis on security of supply, so both in the network of harvesters that Nutramara works with, but also with regard to capability and capacity around cultivation of seaweed on long lines. The zero waste cascading approach, which I've mentioned, is really, really important. The whole algae biomass is so valuable and contains so many different types of bioactives. It's so important to make sure that all of the seaweed is totally used and market applications can be found for all aspects of the seaweed. The whole area of scientific validation, so understanding what the different molecules do and what products they can go into is hugely important. And then once those molecules have been identified and those ingredients have been scaled, using state-of-the-art and clean cosmetic and clean nutraceutical formulations is also at the key of what the company does. So I quite like this diagram because I think it makes it very, very understandable in terms of the portfolio of molecules that you can extract from algae biomass. So here is an example of some of the key outputs that Nutramara are generating using their biorefinery approach. So there's a molecule called fucoidin, which was identified in 1913. This is a complex polysaccharide. It's sulfated and it has a huge variety of health benefits and bioactivities, which are extensively published in the literature. The particular bioactivity that the molecule has relates to its structure, and it will vary from species to species of seaweed that you use, and also depending on the extraction methodology that you use. So you will have fucoidins that vary in their different types of bioactivities. And the Nutramara fucoidins have been shown to have quite a range of bioactivities relating to extracellular matrix support. So that is relevant for your skin, for your hair, bone and cartilage, for example. The fucoidin is also proven to have fantastic antioxidant properties, really good gut health benefits because it's a very good prebiotic. And also there is key data sets relating to the inhibition of particular microbes, so a very good antimicrobial effect as well. And there's a product called alga fiber, which is the insoluble part of the seaweed. So a lot of cellulose fibers in there, insoluble, also complemented with some soluble fibers and also marine protein. So this is a very interesting product for weight management and microbiome support, and also application areas that relate to cholesterol management. Beta-glucans are well known. You can get beta-glucans from oats and beta-glucans from mushrooms. Marine beta-glucans haven't really been successfully commercialized to date, but Nutramara have generated a marine beta-glucan that has fantastic prebiotic activities and anti-inflammatory effects. The marine polyphenols are also really interesting. So people will be very familiar with the fact that polyphenol, that red wine is good for you and dark chocolate is good for you. That's because of the polyphenol content, and there are also amazing polyphenols in macroalgae that have very, very potent antioxidant and anti-allergy effects, and also anti-tyrosinase effects, which are really interesting for the cosmetic market. And then the sea gel product has very, very good tissue regeneration and wound healing properties. So by understanding the particular bioactivities that these different powders or ingredients have, you can take this forward then into your NPD strategy and start to plan around the different types of products that these bioactivities enable you to develop. There's a very large team working in Nutramara at the moment, and the whole area of certification is a key area that the team works on. So the ingredients are certified vegan, organic, halal and kosher, and having this high quality, high standard accreditation around the ingredients is really, really important. I mentioned the whole area of food application and nutraceutical and cosmetic application. So these certifications add quite a lot of value and validate the quality of the Nutramara ingredients. So at the outset, I mentioned that Nutramara is a biotechnology company, so it's very focused on research and development. There's an extensive scientific team in Nutramara, and some of the leaders in the scientific research and development are noted here. And then there's an extended team of researchers, so postdocs, research assistants, and PhD students at various universities and research centres across Ireland. So the funding, the research and innovation funding ecosystem in Ireland has been very, very helpful in the development of Nutramara. So just a little bit around the proof. So I mentioned there around some of the bioactivities that the different ingredients have. So this is just another slide to illustrate the extent of the validation that has been carried out around the bioactivities of the different molecules that Nutramara has generated and extracted from seaweed. And it's this biomarker data that's used then in the NPD strategy. So that's very much looking at the research and development activities of Nutramara. So then how are those ingredients then converted into products, or how do we look at going from those particular ingredients into new value chains? So it's very much led by the data that indicates what product areas you can potentially generate new products in. And you can see here that there are 5 kind of key product areas that Nutramara is working on, and they are in various stages of development. So firstly, Seabody. So this is a circular health and beauty brand that Nutramara has developed. It's a range of supplements or nutraceuticals and topical cosmetic skincare products. These have been carefully designed, and the term bio-designed is used. So that is taking cues from marine biology and taking cues from human biology to develop high efficacy products that particularly target different cell pathways to, I suppose, deliver the benefits of the particular product. So for example, if you think of a cosmetic product, having a bioactive ingredient that supports collagen is really, really important. And in the case of a digestion, a product to support microbiome health or healthy digestion, an ingredient that supports your microbiome, the bifidobacteria and lactobacillus in your gut is really relevant for the development of these types of products. So there's some of the types of cues and insights that have been used in NPD within Nutramara. So Seaweed then is a hair care range. So it's a range of topical hair care, so hair masks and hair masks and protecting mists, and also a range of nutraceuticals. So there's a molecule in Seaweed called marigin, which has very, very potent activities around supporting the hair cell cycle. And this product is going to launch in Q1 2022. And the Seabody range has already launched and is available on seabody.com and is going into a key Irish retailer in the very near future. With regard to the feed value chain, you can see here the blue Petco. So this is taking the feed application area of the marine ingredients, and a companion pet care range has been generated. So this is a range of supplements specifically for dogs, and this range is also live and available on the market. So it contains a range of supplements and chews at the moment. And then with regard to pipeline, I mentioned the whole area of the beverage value chain. So here Aquionic is a drink, a functional drink, and that's quite well progressed, but in the development pipeline. And then the other product is Jealousy, and this is a sports nutrition product. So that's all from me on Nutramara. I hope it has given you some insight into the development journey of Nutramara in terms of research and innovation and developing blue biotechnology capacity, but then also into the development of new value chains and new products using marine ingredients. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Helena. Really great presentation. I have a very important question for you. Is the Seabody range going to be available before Christmas? And because I need to buy some presents.
Well, that's fantastic, Catriona. Absolutely, yeah. It's available at the moment on seabody.com. So anybody looking for a nice Christmas gift, I think, yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
Super, thank you. No, and it's a great story of Nutramara, and it's very good. Thanks very much. One quick question there for Jennifer, if you're there. Jennifer, we had a few questions come in just from the audience. And so, Jennifer, can you just talk about maybe the type of seaweed that you're using in your product, and is it wild or cultivated? Thanks.
Yeah, right now we have a seaweed supplier, Plantruption, on the west coast of Ireland, Streeter, County Sligo. So she has a lovely dried mix, and it's a mix of sea spaghetti, kelp, dillisk. So it's a combination of all three, and it's a fantastic product. So that's what we're using right now to scale up operation. You know, it's going to be a challenge for us, so we're currently looking to other suppliers as well to see what availability they have and other products that we can potentially use. Very good. So you're looking for more supply, is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. Okay, so everyone on the call, make sure and give Jennifer drop an email after this if you're interested in supplying. Super. So what we're going to do, we'll hold off for the Q&A for another few minutes. I'm actually going to invite Brijesh, Professor Brijesh Tiwari from BiOrbic, who's going to talk about the supports available at BiOrbic to help researchers and companies get their product to market. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Brijesh Tiwari is my name, and I'm representing BiOrbic. I'm one of the PI on BiOrbic. And BiOrbic is a national research center of Ireland, and the offices and some of our labs are located at UCD, as well as and other centers. We are relatively young, started in January 2018, and one of those, it's majority of the funding comes from state agencies, that Science Foundation Ireland, and we also have a significant amount of funding from industry. And so as a National Bioeconomy Research Center, it's a UCD-led center and involves key universities, NUIG, that National University of Galway, Limerick, MTU, Trinity, and of course Chagas. And apart from that, we also work very closely with other industry. Now, coming back to our marine bioresources, if you'll see, this is a world map which clearly shows how best, we are blessed with a lot of marine resources in and around Ireland. And we have a vast coastline, and it's obviously, we have a range of seaweeds available at the moment for both through wild harvest as well as for as cultivated seaweeds. Now, how BiOrbic supports blue economy is either by biotransformation, that is converting aquaculture or wild harvested seaweeds into value-added products, or adding value to existing processes so that we leave no waste from any of the processes. So the key program related to marine, apart from other stuff what is carried out in BiOrbic, is diversification of products to create value chains. And one of the most important elements here is to use multi-stream processes, a biorefinery approach, which also adheres to circular economy principles. And we have three key pillars within that. One is selective separations, and that's we use high-tech extraction processing techniques to assess the high value compounds from marine resources. Second one is conversion, which is we employ biology, chemistry, and biochemical principles to transform raw material or raw biomass into high-value products, including food, feed, and different supplements. And sustainability pillar, just to ensure that we have all the processes are sustainable and we can see the environmental credentials of the process established. And the range of product, as I'm not going to go into details of all the products, a range of products are possible. Most of Helena did mention coming out of macroalgae as well as Paul. The main aim of using marine bioresources for feed, food, various biochemicals, nutraceuticals, and cosmeceuticals, and leftover residues which can be used for production of energy through bioenergy. And the main focus here is to have a cooperative commercialization to operate at higher TR level in range between 4 to 7. And whatever processes are developed out of macroalgae Irish marine resources, and how best we can have environmental benefits and get economic gains. So this is a snapshot of the research program what support BiOrbic is having for blue bioeconomy. And BiOrbic is having over 100 leading researchers across Ireland. We support blue bioeconomy through our research. Expertise of our research is very broad and helps us to take a multidisciplinary approach to tackle current and future challenges and how best we can innovate. For instance, we have marine experts, synthetic biologists, chemists, chemical engineers, material scientists, biodiversity experts, supply chain experts, and as well as expertise in the area of life cycle assessment, so we can map out the whole process from farm, that is production, all the way to end product. So as I mentioned previously, we work with a range of different industry partners. We work with a range of different partners, and our key focus is industry. And these are some of those industry partners which I've mentioned here, and they are contributing both technically as well as economically. That we receive funding from industry, apart from the marine industry, and Nutramara, and this is Seaweed we're presenting today. We also work with the companies involved in dairy industry, mushroom industry, and strong in Ireland, and a couple of products from the seaweeds can be used for a range of different sectors, as already been established. As far as marine bioresources is concerned, we work not only with wild harvest seaweeds, as you can see on your left, as well as aquacultured seaweed, what you see on the right. This particular image is from Nutramara Marine. That's they produce alaria and range of different seaweed from in Mayo. And over here is a wild harvest seaweed, which is obviously picked up from the seacoast. And the main processes what we are focusing from BiOrbic perspective is especially from primary processing, because this is one of the elements which really a challenge, whether it's wild harvest or aquaculture seaweed, how best we preserve or how best we dry it to make more energy efficient processes. And either we use fresh or dried seaweed for different pretreatments and develop extraction processes to obtain value-added compounds. And but in a nutshell, BiOrbic is open for business, and whatever way we can support marine or agri-food industry in Ireland. And please feel free to contact Sean Douglas. He is the commercialization manager for BiOrbic, and that is it from my end.
Thank you very much, Brijesh. And it's really good to hear about all the supports available at BiOrbic and all the work you're doing. And I really love the background you have there. It's very fun. So thanks very much. So I'm now going to invite Laura Foley, who works for the FANBEST project, to tell you all about the supports available there. Laura?
Thank you. So is my screen?
All good.
Thank you very much. Okay, so my name is Laura Jane Foley. I'm the Enterprise Development Manager for Circular Bioeconomy in NTU. I'm currently working on a project, a FANBEST project. It's Interreg project, and it is looking at funding technology transfer in the blue economy. The blue economy encompasses all economic activities related directly to the oceans and seas, employing over 4.5 million people in the EU and 1.5% of EU GDP. Traditional sectors include areas such as fisheries, aquaculture, coastal tourism, maritime transport, port activities, and shipbuilding. New sectors are opening up in high-value areas such as biotechnology, algae production, and organic or oceanic renewable technology. But currently there's a disconnect across the Atlantic area between blue economy, SMEs, and the necessary innovation support systems. A recent needs assessment of blue economy companies along the Atlantic area highlighted a lack of access to R&D specific ecosystems and a lack of financial instruments specific to the blue economy. It also highlighted SMEs in the blue economy are more likely to be time poor or resource poor. So even when even when these services are available on their doorstep, they find it hard to access them. So the FANBEST project is looking to address these issues by bringing together 9 partners from across 5 countries in the Atlantic area. So they're to act as a one-stop shop for guidance to accessing research, knowledge sharing, and expertise on funding and finance specific to the blue economy. One of the ways FANBEST is looking to address this issue is through coaching. So FANBEST is through MTU is offering a tailored coaching service that through a needs assessment will look at a company's time and human resource availability and what their goal that they'd like to achieve and over what kind of a time scale that they'd like to achieve it, and then putting that together in a plan and working through that on a one-to-one mentoring program. The FANBEST program also includes a half-day consultation with an industry-relevant expert, and that's chosen by the participating company. So that's the core aspect of what the coaching will be offered. The coaching is free to participate, but limited spaces as it is a tailored program offered over 1 to 6 months. So additionally to that core offering for the coaching program, there is an a la carte menu of services that are being provided by the project partners. So those services include access to FANBEST online business program. That's a suite of 5 business units that are available for companies to tip in and out of when they want to. It includes business planning, business communication, marketing, pitching for new business, and pitching for funding, specifically in the blue economy. Our project partner, Vertigo Lab, have offered to do a socioeconomic assessment for a company if they choose to have one done. A socioeconomic assessment is a snapshot of the value that your company can provide in your local economy, and this can be a piece of information to have when applying for certain types of finance. We're also offering to a company, if they choose to take it up, a tailored crowdfunding campaign, and this will be completely managed by one of our partners, Orangebird. They will work with a company to bring them from start to finish on their crowdfunding campaign, helping with shaping the media and the story behind the crowdfunding campaign, and helping you to reach the target for your funding. FANBEST also has financing supports that are specific to the blue economy and specific to either national, like regional or European level funding. So we can provide detailed information and good practice around financing support. Throughout the program, there will be networking events, and we will culminate the 6-month program with a technology showcase for all companies to come together and show their developments and their innovation. We'll also have a thematic webinar series that, again, companies will be able to tip in and out of, depending on if the series is relevant to their company. So who is eligible to apply? So it's open to all SMEs in the blue economy. So if you're an innovator within a company already and you have developed a project that you'd like to research and develop, if you're an entrepreneur and you haven't started on your business journey, but you would like to investigate the idea further, we're looking to startups and scale-ups. So that's who's eligible to apply. And applying is very easy. Just contact myself at laura.foley@mtu.ie and I can send you more details and talk about it more. So that's all for me. Thanks very much.
Super, thank you, Laura. It's a really great program, and I really encourage companies and entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs as well, if you're interested. This is an Interreg funded program. You're also working alongside folks from like Portugal and Spain and France, and who have all got a lot of experience in this area as well around commercializing new products, and they have lots of facilities and experts. So it's a really great opportunity. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to have a bit of a Q&A. And if the audience have any questions as well, please jump in. So may I ask all the panelists to, the company panelists to put on their camera, please. Thank you. Yeah. Fab. So Paul, question for you. With the backdrop of COP26 going on at the moment, and given the role of the presenting companies in supporting climate action, what can we do better to support companies developing sustainable products in Ireland?
Thanks, Catriona. Yeah, very important time, and highlighted this week by the Bioeconomy Week. Great supports going on. Next week is Ecomondo in Italy, and highlighting cases, let's say, for Europe, and then the COP in Glasgow highlighting cases for the world. It's just a time to maybe look at what we're doing in our own homes, maybe what we're doing in our schools in terms of food production, sourcing, and where it goes afterwards in terms of food waste. Challenging that, maybe what the government can do more is to invest more in foods of the future, as in plant-based foods or alternative proteins. We see the likes of Denmark, government of Denmark investing 170 million. And so just, we don't want to lose out, and we've got such a strong culture and a strong knowledge recognized globally, the food culture of Ireland, and so it's not to miss out on that. We need to excel in foods of the future rather than just the existing foods. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm sure, and other panelists, feel free to jump in if you think the same, or if you think there's more additionality you'd like to add. Brijesh, maybe?
Well, it's actually, as far as more funding and support is concerned, obviously, like SFI funded BiOrbic is having a generous funding from government sources to carry out this research. Obviously, it will require some bit of cost to be shared by companies, and you're aware of that. And apart from that, one of those challenges what you were mentioned. What was the second part of the, sorry, Paul, I just missed the second point on your...
maybe that the likes of Denmark are investing 170 million in alternative proteins for the future, and just to say that we need to kind of keep abreast of
yes.
the work that other countries are doing.
Yeah, it's actually, to be honest, in Ireland itself, we do have the generous funding as well. For one of the, to name few, is like SFI funded BiOrbic Center, and it's already Laura was mentioning about cluster. Apart from that, we have Disruptive Technology Innovation Fund, where the industry has to put in 50% of the cost of the project. And these are really high value projects. That means it has to be 1 to 3 million euros. And there is strong funding support also available from Enterprise Ireland, UDRAS, and other agencies. So I think we are, but at the same time, it needs industry commitment as well. And so that's, well, there are a range of different sources, and I think in Europe, Ireland is having a very good funding support compared to most of the countries. Easy access, and less of bureaucracy and less of paperwork. And we may agree, we may not agree, but that's I think.
Brijesh, I'm already benefiting from the support of
Yeah.
BiOrbic and SFI,
Yes.
and so this is aimed more at the higher level, at the government, for larger
Exactly.
investments.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, very good. And so I guess, just to kind of talk about how companies benefit from the innovation ecosystem and picking up on that a little bit more. So in Jennifer, what are the benefits that you get as part of being, part of the Irish innovation ecosystem as a company? Like, how has it, supported you, in the early stages?
Thanks. Yeah, great question. I mean, it's been everything. If it was before I became an entrepreneur, I didn't realize how important the network was to build a company. You kind of think you have this great technology, this great product, and you can just go to market. But really and truly, it's getting access to world-class mentors, getting access to manufacturers, getting access to other cohorts that are going through a similar journey, and bringing all of that knowledge together to kind of help you on your journey. I mean, you certainly can't build a company on your own, which I learned quite quickly. You need that support around you and from your whole community and family and friends and everybody around you. So it's just really, really important to dip into everyone and there's always somebody, like, no matter who I talk to, somebody can give you a connection that can help. And Irish ecosystem are great. I mean, one thing about Ireland is we're a great country in terms of networking and connection and keeping in touch and helping each other. I think that's why we kind of thrive as entrepreneurs. So far, I mean, I certainly wouldn't have been able to achieve fundraising without meeting the right people. And I got to meet Paul earlier this year, and Paul's been great to me as well, great support. And hopefully we'll help each other as the year goes on. So it's been fantastic and so important for every entrepreneur. And I've been through the New Frontiers program, the Google Adopt a Startup program, Food Academy program. So it's all those ecosystems, and the Hatch Innovation program, and all of those ecosystems combined, I think, introduced me to the right people and helped me to gain those skills and knowledge to take the company to the next level.
Great, thank you so much, Jennifer. And it's a good story, isn't it? Because you're, and now, like, with the US and everything like that, like, it prepares the company and yourself for that journey.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, Helena, I'm going to put the same question to you. Like, how has Nutramara, been supported through the ecosystem to get where you are today? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Catriona. So I think, to Jennifer's point, the whole area of networking and connectivity, I think has been huge. There's I think in Ireland we're a great country for conversation and for connecting and for sharing our stories and sharing our pains. So I think the whole ability to connect with other companies and to get advice has been huge. I think the whole research funding, as you'll have seen from the slides on Nutramara, very much a company developing a biotechnology platform, and has engaged extensively with a large variety of universities and research groups nationally. So I think the funds that are in place to enable the companies to access those skills has been fantastic. I think it also keeps small companies really agile. I mean, developing your own in-house R&D labs and facilities is hugely expensive, but by being able to tap into the different expertise and the different research groups and universities nationally, it enables you to very quickly develop new competencies and capabilities without having to onboard the kind of huge capital investment. And I think as well, then, in addition to the research outputs, the conversations that you have with the researchers and with other entrepreneurs and other companies, there's a huge amount of knowledge exchange and kind of learning on the job, so to speak, that goes with it as well. So I think they're kind of the two key areas. It's the access to expertise and the wider network of people as well.
Thanks, Helena. And it's great to understand a bit better, like, how the innovation supports, they de-risk the business at the early stages, and they make it, more viable for further investment and things like that. So we have a couple of questions coming in here on the Q&A. So what are the biggest hurdles you have met in building a seaweed-based business, and how did you overcome it? Oh, ooh. Who wants to take that one?
I can start, Catriona, if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. So look, there are so many hurdles along the way. I mean, you'll get at different parts of the supply chain, you'll have different issues that you'll encounter. I think at the start, there are kind of so many opportunities initially that you can potentially tap into. You can see that seaweed is such a powerful biomass. It contains so many amazing molecules and has so many amazing applications. It's what market to chase first and what areas to kind of select first to invest your time and energies into. That can be quite challenging. Developing, I suppose that's one thing. So understanding your market and chasing your market, that's a huge challenge to make sure that you're making the right decision. And the whole area around the technology development, sometimes people associate aquaculture and seaweed with an area that's of low innovation. I think it's absolutely the opposite. You can see now with the application of biotechnologies that it's a hugely innovative area, and I suppose Brijesh used the term disruption. I think there is big disruption going on within aquaculture because of the deployment of technologies, but it's not easy to scale a process, to develop a process, and to come up with something that you can bring to market. So technology scaling and process scaling is a huge challenge. And then also the market readiness. That's another big challenge. I mean, a lot of these ingredients are new to market. You've got a lot of regulatory hurdles, issues such as novel foods can come into play. And then, so, there can be a lot of regulatory issues, and even getting your product approved for sale. There are a lot of hurdles associated with that as well. And then I suppose the market readiness as well, Catriona, can be challenging. So not all customers will understand the names of the ingredients that you have, or the functionalities that they have, or why they should be making this kind of better environmental purchasing decision. Paul mentioned this whole area of kind of conscious consumer. So I think, entering the market at the right time is another kind of challenge that companies face as well.
Yeah, Paul, Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that?
Where do you start? Yeah, I totally agree with everything that she said there. Market readiness and regulatory problems, all of which, I mean, everything to do with entrepreneurship is a problem. I think it's a case of how quickly you solve the problems and move ahead, and again, reaching into your network to help you solve those problems and move ahead. So yeah, from I suppose I've been in an earlier stage over the past year, really, is when we really set up the company. And having no cash and trying to pay a mortgage and survive yourself is also a huge challenge as well. So you're relying on grants, and you're trying to bootstrap to put as much funding into a test model to try and secure funding. So that was a particular hurdle that I was trying to overcome this year. Is COVID helped the situation. It was, it kept me inside, not having to socialize, and be able to put as much funding into the company as I possibly could to gain enough attraction to order to secure funding. So that's a huge challenge for such an early stage company. And now that we've moved on to the next stage, now I'm facing a whole different range of other challenges about market readiness and markets and where to go next. So every stage of the journey is a problem, but it's just a case of finding a solution as quickly as possible and making the right decisions and having the right advice and support around you for that.
It's a true entrepreneurial journey, isn't it? It's the unknown. Yeah, very good. And thanks very much, Jennifer. And I realize that we're coming up to the last minute of the session, and I think we're going to have to close the Q&A because we're only on until 1. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen quickly, and just for a short recap. So really, I want to thank all our panelists today for excellent presentations, and for coming today and answering questions as well, and showcasing their products and their projects and what they're doing. They're open to, what's really nice, what I'm hearing from the group is they're open to collaboration, they're open to talking to stakeholders, to investors, to consumers. So if you're interested in connecting with them, do let us know. We're happy to make that introduction, or maybe you want to reach out directly. I'm sure, actually, panelists, if you don't mind, I'll probably share your email address in our follow-up email to the group afterwards. So what I just want to finish off on is, I mentioned I manage the Circular Bioeconomy Cluster Southwest, and what we do is we bring people together to talk about, potential projects, funding opportunities, how to, applied R&D, training and upskilling, as well as developing these market connections. And so we have about 23 members in our cluster at the moment. We're a new cluster that was set up in January. And part of our role is to work with the ecosystem more broadly, like we're doing today, like with BiOrbic and with FANBEST and MTU, and more broadly everybody else, to showcase as well what's available, to showcase the great companies that are part of all these clusters around Ireland, and to, to sow the seed for new projects and collaboration going forward. So I just want to put that there. If you're interested in following up, please do reach out. There's my email and my number. And thanks everybody for joining the session today. If we didn't get around to your question, we'll definitely respond as well on email. So thank you very much. Thanks to all the panelists. Bye.
Thanks, Catriona.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Catriona.